I still remember the day I arrived at the nursing home, clutching a small suitcase like a lifeline. My daughter drove me there, tears welling in both our eyes, neither of us saying what we really felt. Is this the end of the life I once knew? I was 80 years old, and despite having lived a full life, raising children, working multiple jobs, enjoying grandkids, I now found myself stepping into a place I'd always dreaded. Have you ever felt that twist in your stomach, thinking you might lose your sense of independence or identity? At that moment, standing in the lobby, I had to swallow my pride and fear all at once. It took me 80 years to realize that a nursing home isn't the end but rather a new beginning, if I allowed it to be. Over the next 15 minutes, I'll share 5 steps that transformed my experience from one of fear to something I never expected, genuine comfort and even joy. My name is Linda, and if you've ever wondered whether life in a nursing home means giving up on living, stay with me. Because the truth is, no matter your age, it's never too late to find purpose, community, and contentment, even behind these walls. Take a moment to reflect. Could a nursing home be a place of possibility rather than a sentence? Let's see how I discovered exactly that. According to the CDC, millions of older Americans reside in nursing homes or assisted living facilities. Many arrive feeling anxious, convinced this is where life fades away. But here's what I've learned: while challenges exist, shared rooms, regulated meal schedules, unfamiliar routines, there's also a chance for renewed social bonds, structured healthcare, and daily interactions we might have missed living alone. If you've ever felt a knot of worry about moving into such a place, or if you have a loved one considering it, you're not alone. I was once so convinced I'd lose my freedom that I almost refused the move, risking my safety at home. The reality is, a nursing home can be isolating if approached with the wrong mindset. But approached with openness and a few key insights, it can become a supportive environment. Think about it: might this new chapter actually offer a sense of relief, security, and companionship? That question lingers at the heart of what I'm about to share. My first weeks in the nursing home were spent in a whirlwind of confusion. I'd wander the halls, unsure which turn led to the dining room or how to request a fresh set of towels. I felt like a stranger in my own life, as though everything familiar had vanished. But gradually, I realized the best way to overcome that anxiety was to explore, much like moving into any new place. Every morning, I'd take a slow walk around each corridor, making mental notes of where the activity rooms were, how to reach the small library nook, and which nurse's station was closest to me. Then, I'd introduce myself to staff members, trying to remember at least one new name a day. Have you ever noticed how a place becomes less scary once you see friendly faces around every corner? By the end of the first month, I knew more names than I'd expected, names that soon turned into smiles and helpful hands. If you're just entering a nursing home, treat it like settling into a new neighborhood. Allow yourself time to learn the layout, watch how daily routines flow, and figure out the small details that give you comfort, like a particular seat in the lounge or a view from the courtyard. You might whisper to yourself, "I'm just getting my bearings," and that's perfectly okay. Accept that adaptation is a process, and it sets the foundation for everything else. One thing I never realized is how much a caring staff can feel like an extended family. At first, I treated them as mere caregivers, polite but distant. But after a few friendly chats, I discovered many of them genuinely wanted to know me beyond my medical chart. Ms. Rogers at the front desk, for instance, always asked about my crocheting projects, while Nurse Jonathan teased me about my love for old jazz records. Every time I reciprocated that curiosity, asked about their day or their interests, our relationship grew. And then there are fellow residents. Don't let initial impressions fool you. I recall a neighbor across the hall, Mr. James, who scowled every time I passed by. One day, I bravely said hello, only to find he was hard of hearing and not unfriendly. We soon bonded over morning coffee, laughing about our shared grumbles about hospital food. If you're worried about awkward silences or cliques, start small, share a smile at breakfast, give a warm greeting in the common lounge, or invite someone to watch a TV show together. You'd be amazed how many people respond with relief that someone broke the ice. Engaging others in the facility can turn what might feel like a prison into a social hub. You begin to recognize that staff members aren't just doing a job, many genuinely care. Residents aren't just strangers, they're people with stories as rich and complicated as yours. Why not let each day be an opportunity to forge a new bond or deepen an existing one? That's how loneliness shrinks, replaced by human connection. Every nursing home or assisted living facility has a roster of daily events, exercise classes, bingo nights, arts and crafts, movie afternoons. At first, I rolled my eyes, thinking I was above it all. I mean, bingo. Crafts. But let me tell you how quickly I changed my tune once I tried them. The first time I joined a light aerobic session, I ended up giggling uncontrollably with the woman next to me. We were stumbling through the moves, but feeling alive. If you're hesitant, consider this. These programs aren't just about passing the time, they're structured ways to keep your mind alert, your body moving, and your spirit engaged. I met one of my closest friends there, Martha, simply by sitting next to her at a quilting workshop. We discovered a shared love of old musicals and soon started a weekly movie night. Is there any activity on the schedule you've been secretly curious about? Maybe let yourself try it once. A single session can spark a new interest or new friendship. Think of it as reclaiming part of your day for something joyful or mentally stimulating. Nursing homes can feel monotonous if you stay in your room. But participating is like lighting a small lamp in that monotony, letting others see your glow, and in turn, letting them brighten your day as well. Let me share the story of Patricia, a woman I met on my first day. At 82, she'd lost her husband of 50 years. The grief weighed her down so heavily that she barely spoke during mealtimes. The staff told me she once was lively, but heartbreak had turned her inward. Over time, Patricia began to volunteer for small tasks like welcoming new residents or handing out books from the activity cart. Through each kind gesture, she rediscovered pieces of her old self, her warmth, her sense of humor. She joined a low-impact dance class, surprising everyone with her hidden grace. And she became a beacon of comfort for others going through similar losses. Watching Patricia flourish showed me that even in a nursing home, you can carve out purpose and fill your day with meaning if you allow yourself to step outside the cocoon of loneliness. One of the biggest fears about moving to a nursing home is the feeling you're being put away, no longer part of real life outside. It doesn't have to be that way. I found a small corner in the facility with decent Wi-Fi, learned how to use a tablet, and started video calls with my grandkids every Sunday. That single act made me feel less cut off from the outside world. If technology feels intimidating, many staff members are happy to show you the ropes, or you might have a neighbor who's surprisingly tech-savvy. Of course, nothing replaces in-person visits. If your family can come by, coordinate a consistent schedule so you have something to look forward to, maybe a monthly brunch or a weekly evening chat. And if your family is far away, consider writing letters or postcards. Yes, actual snail mail. You'd be amazed how a simple letter brightens someone's day in our digital age. If you're physically able, ask the staff if there's an outing or day trip you can join, a shopping excursion or a park visit. These small windows to the outside world remind you there's life beyond these walls and that you remain a part of it. Living in a nursing home doesn't mean surrendering every shred of independence. True, you might have set meal times or prescribed medication schedules, but there are corners of life you can still control, daily habits, small hobbies, the clothes you wear, or how you decorate your space. I insisted on having a modest reading corner in my room, placing a comfy chair near the window. It's my little sanctuary for morning tea and a chapter of my favorite novel. Talk to the staff about what you can handle on your own, maybe you enjoy folding your laundry or tidying your bedside. Having these small responsibilities preserves your sense of autonomy. If you can walk or do light errands, see if someone can accompany you around the garden or to the nearby convenience store if the facility allows. Keeping a personal routine, whether it's a 10-minute meditation after you wake up or crocheting a few rows before bed, gives a sense of stability. Whisper to yourself, I still choose how I spend parts of my day. That affirmation can make all the difference in preserving dignity and self-respect. So, these 5 steps reshaped my nursing home journey. Adjust to your environment. Engage with staff and residents. Join group activities and programs. Stay connected with family and the outside world. Maintain your independence and personal routines. At first, I felt like I'd lost everything when I moved in here. But by exploring each hallway, learning staff names, trying out group events, regularly calling my family, and keeping a sliver of daily routine for myself, I found a life that felt surprisingly whole. Think about which step you might focus on first. Maybe it's calling a relative tonight or promising to attend that book club session next Tuesday. Just picking one action can brighten your tomorrow. Picture the difference it could make if you truly connected with one new resident or insisted on your personal morning routine. Could that shift your perspective from "I'm stuck here" to "I'm making the most of this"? Give yourself permission to try. Remember, these insights come from my personal experience of living in a nursing home, not from a healthcare professional. Everyone's health and mental state vary, so if you or a loved one struggles deeply, it's wise to seek counseling or speak to a social worker on site. But I hope you walk away knowing that a nursing home doesn't have to be a place where life goes to fade. It can be a supportive community, a chance to discover new friendships, a safer environment than living alone with constant worry. If you found this video helpful, please tap the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and share it with someone else who might be approaching a similar transition. Thank you for staying with me these 15 minutes. I've shared what took me 80 years to accept, that nursing home living can be another chapter of growth, purpose, and yes, even joy. As you reflect on your own path or that of a loved one, remind yourself, it's never too late to open your heart, find companionship, and embrace the next phase of life, no matter where you call home.